Hello and welcome to another episode of Finding America. Today I'm going to give my verdict on an American drink, or an American attempt at a drink that originated far outside of American borders, and that drink is Mead. Now, as you can see, this is an empty bottle because my wife is an alcoholic, but other than that, this is going to be my first attempt at this mead. Mead is essentially a wine that's fermented from honey. You'll sometimes hear the phrase honey wine, and it has a very sort of personal place in my heart, not just mine, but Tara's as well, because when we were first dating back in Lancaster, England, way back in 2005, 2006, a good many 14 years ago now. I had to do the math there. Thank goodness I hadn't yet had a sip of alcohol, because that would have rendered my mathematical skills poor. And, we encountered the drink for the first time, and the particular brand in question was Lindisfarne Mead. Now, this Lindisfarne Mead was a type of mead that was associated with Lindisfarne Island in Northumberland, but they sold their mead nationwide, and we just happened upon it. We were students, of course, and one of the overriding features of studenthood at that time was drinking alcohol. So we indulged, I think, in this at some point in the winter, I think, because it was cold. And it is, I should say ahead of time, a nice drink to have during the winter. It sort of really warms up the throat, I find, possibly because of that honey fermentation. But the Lindisfarne drink, or the idea of the drink, is super old. In fact, goes back to medieval times, as does just the drink mead in general when we're talking about its English presence. And of all people, it was largely consumed at that time by monks on the island, because there was an understanding among this community of monks that if the soul was in God's keeping, the body must be fortified with Lindisfarne mead, and that's why they drank it. It's not really why I drink it per se, it's just to get drunk. I'm not much of a connoisseur, but it does have quite a beautiful taste, at least the version with which I am familiar. And so today we're going to try something that appropriately, I think, given the sort of medieval nature of the drink, is called New World Camelot Mead. Yeah, I'll take a close look at that. It comes from Oliver Winery, which is a winery with which I am actually quite familiar. It's a winery that is in Bloomington, Indiana. I've been there before, but only to have sort of traditional wines, your reds, your whites, all of that good stuff. Nothing honey-based as far as I can recall, so this should be a first here live on screen. It's not live, thank goodness. But here it is. I've already poured a glass beforehand in case I made the error of spilling it or making undue noises that you didn't really care to hear. So without further ado, let's take a taste of American mead, made, as I said, in Indiana. It's sweet, of course, because it's got honey in it, and that's good. I mean, that doesn't, to me, that's not dissimilar, really, to Lindisfarne, I suppose, or any mead that I've ever had. I mean, here's the thing, my palate is not very nuanced. I usually find that most red, most white wines, etc., are pretty similar. Not to each other, the red and the white are quite distinct, but each red to me tastes quite similar to another red, for example. Unless you pay extra, like once you've paid quite a bit for a bottle of wine, then it starts tasting less vinegary. I'm probably insulting so many wine connoisseurs right now, but I just don't have the palate for it. I just know what tastes good for me. And this is more than passable. This is actually good mead. The funny thing is, we're obviously visiting the UK in May, and one of the sort of items on our checklist just to pick up while we're over there is a bottle of Lindisfarne. But really, I mean, somebody could have just slapped the Lindisfarne label on this, not told me, and I would have drunk it and probably been convinced. I'm sure there are, meadery experts out there, mead experts out there, that could absolutely tell the difference between the two, and more power to you. All I can say for the sake of this review is it's good. Try it. Go to Oliver Winery, go to your local winery, wherever that might be, and see if they have any kind of meads on the go. It looks like they are becoming more and more popular in the United States. You do hear of people that have heard of mead, but it's not such a well-known drink over here. I mean, it's not super popular or super well known in the UK, really. I hadn't heard of it until I'd met Tara, and we both discovered it together. And at that point, I was I was 23. I was 23 and well into my drinking career at that point because of studenthood. I've said studenthood twice in this video now. I don't know if that's even a word, but it should be. Cheers. No, good mead, and I'll certainly get to the end of the glass probably throughout this video, and that way you get to sort of well, actually, I recommend this. Go to your cupboard now, get yourself a glass of wine. It'll almost be like we're drinking together, like we're on some sort of date. Tara's not given me permission to do that, so please, if you do consider it a date, it's a one-way thing at this point. But mead, no, it does have a place in our history. I sort of think of coming home on a cold English winter night, which, by Chicago terms is not cold in the least, but I used to think it was. And just sort of sit back, crack it open, just like you do with alcohol. I mean, it doesn't serve much more of a purpose. Although, I should say that there is a belief, and this could be just part of folklore rather than truth, but there's a belief that this drink, in going back to medieval times, actually helped to form the basis for the word honeymoon, because people would get married, and in sort of celebration, they would be given a full moon's worth of mead to drink on their sort of after-wedding party, as it were, or honeymoon, as we've come to know. It's not really a party, is it? It's a getaway. I remember our honeymoon, we went to Indianapolis. So that was, we were poor, we were broke, probably because we'd spent so much on mead at that point. But great times. And like I said, I'm looking forward to going over, and maybe mead will feature in one of my videos when we go to York. I mean, that's not too far, relatively speaking, from Northumberland. In fact, I remember buying a bottle of mead in York. It felt like I was getting absolutely pissed on history while I was there, and I kind of long to do that again. We are visiting York while we're there, so it will be quite a sight for sore eyes taking Tara around a big Roman wall while, drunk on a medieval sauce. But cheers again. I'm more than pleased with this. I mean, even though it's still sort of technically winter here in Chicago, it's not particularly cold out right now. In fact, it got up to 40 degrees today, and we've also got underfloor heating in the apartment. But nonetheless, I've been a bit cold myself around the house today, and this has warmed me up immensely. I don't know if you can tell, but I've got really red cheeks right now. Facial cheeks, not the other. You're not seeing them. And that's what this has done. So I'm thankful for mead. I cannot wait. I mean, obviously we're going to be there in May, so it won't quite have the same effect. But maybe we'll bring back a bottle and save it until Christmas, and then you'll have forgotten all about this video, and I'll crack it out on Christmas Day, because we'll do Vlogmas again, and you'll see some good old medieval wine. I mean, it's not actually from the medieval period, the bottle itself. That would be revolting, although they do say that older wine is best, so who knows at this point. I rather think it might have congealed over that many years. That's it. I'm gonna, knock this back now. Okay, I didn't down it in one. That would be too much. But, thank you for watching these videos. We've got plenty more coming up throughout the month of March, so stay tuned for that. I'm including an announcement at the end of the month. That should be fun. I do have to caveat that, because I think my mother might be watching. We're not expecting or anything like that. So don't get your hopes up, Mum. It's something small and channel related, so keep tuned for that. Until next time, go out, buy your mead and any alcohol you like, and just let me drink mine. Stop watching, it's embarrassing. Thank you for watching this episode of Lost in the Pond. Don't forget to hit my stupid little face to subscribe, and please share this video with the world. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and if you would like to support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/lostinthepond.